We're back for more F1, my team here today for the French Grand Prix at the circuit Paul Ricard. Now before we jump into this one, if you haven't seen the last episode, go check it out, the Austrian Grand Prix, a sprint race which featured 4 safety cars I believe, and pretty much an entire sprint of chaos in the monsoon rain. Go check it out because it didn't get the best response. I feel like it got drowned out at the time of uploading, which wasn't the best one, so if you haven't seen it, spoilers ahead, go watch it. But yeah, let's get into this weekend's action as we jump into the French Grand Prix. So, weather forecast, thankfully, is dry, so no dramas on the weather forecast. In terms of upgrades, we have one chassis upgrade on the car, but it's a major one. And as you can see, that is going to mean we stay on top in the performance chart. However, everybody bringing upgrades. Williams bringing the biggest package this weekend, and overall, it's a tight battle. That top 4 fight is hotting up. Mercedes are red hot in terms of development right now, and they're pushing on. We have 2 more upgrades of our own on the way, but we'll see how that affects things moving forward. Either way, I'm glad we have no rain this weekend because our wet weather pace in Austria was absolutely shambolic. So yeah, I'm glad that that's behind us now. We can focus on the weekend ahead in dry conditions. We went through practice, everything went well, we got maximum points, and we're now going to move into qualifying, and we're going to see if we can break our streak of Q2 appearances. We can't seem to get to Q3. We've had, I believe, 2 or 3 P12s, followed by another 2 or 3 P11s. We can't seem to just break and crack the top 10. So our pace looks better this weekend, on paper anyway. It seems okay. What I will say, and I noticed it for the first time, in the last episode, we seem to have lost our straight line speed advantage, and that seems to have gone up in smoke. Other teams have caught up and improved. In the speed trap, we was around P12, in practice. It wasn't looking that great. I went down a little bit on the wings for qualifying to try and, make some of that back. But you can see here, we're P10 right now after that first run. We've got 6 tenths over P16, so we're not going to go back out. We've got a comfortable margin, so Q1 is going to be a pretty easy walkover. However, we ended up 1.3 seconds off the pace, and I'm losing time in all 3 sectors. There's not really a weakness per se. I will say the middle one is probably my weakest of the 3, but I'm losing about 3 to 4 tenths in all of them, but a bit more in the middle. And that kind of highlights the lack of straight line speed, which is starting to become an issue again, which is really interesting. And that's part of the experiment with this new save to see how things progress. Now into Q2, Russell setting the pace there with the mid-29. We're going to start our lap and we're going to see if we can set a decent banker to get things started. And if we do, then that's going to be a good start to Q2. However, we just take a bit too much inside curb on turn 2, got the gas down a bit too soon, and that meant we went for a spin. So I'm going to recover the car, and we actually managed to cruise and, go back around really slowly and go for another push lap. I had just about enough fuel to keep pushing, and our first proper lap is going to start now. So let's see if this time we get through the chicane cleanly. Through the first apex, nasty. Second apex, again, just a bit too much inside curb. Also the car, the balance isn't really there, as it doesn't seem to like it. Either way, we kept on pushing throughout the lap. Now in sector 3, again, another snap there as we just kissed the inside curb, and the balance just seems a little bit off at the moment, which is annoying because part firm is on, so we can't really change much about the car. I kept on messing with the diff to try and find, different balances, improvements, but we weren't quite finding much joy. Up to the line though, it's going to be a 130.5 and P13, which isn't that great, especially when you consider our Q1 pace. So we go back out there with a final set of tyres. I actually went up on the front wing for those first 2 runs, and we have a horrible exit at the start of a final lap, losing the back end. That's going to cost us a lot of momentum down to turn 1. However, we keep on pushing. Let's try again, the first chicane. This time a lot less inside curb, and we do get the drive, and we're up by a tenth and a half. I've gone down on the front wing as well for this run, so we should have a bit more front wing and a bit more stability at the cost of some understeer. So far though, it looks okay. Through sector 1, we're up by 2 tenths and a tenth and a half up on Esteban Ocon in P11. We have another little snap on the exit of the right-hander there onto the back straight, so we're now 2.5 tenths up. Spot braking into the chicane. You want to try and bring the car over to the right and brake at about, let's say, just after the 100. Down to 4th and try to stay nice and tight through the right to straight line your exit. Short shift to 5th if you need to get good traction, and we're up by 3.5 tenths As for Ocon, we're up by still a tenth and a half, so we're looking good at the moment as the checkered flag drops. Through Senior, absolutely flat into the double rights at the 50, turn in and then start to downshift and make your way in. Go nice and wide to come back across and take a bit of a V-shaped line to get a good exit up the hill into this off-cambered left. Very wide entry. We avoid the inside curve perfectly and we find a big chunk of time through there, nearly 2/10 as we now head into the final 2 corners. Try and stay tight through here to open the final apex. Could have definitely opened my line a little bit more, but still we'll take it as we get decent traction and we're going to improve by about 0.6 of a second. This is going to be close. Across the line we go. Have we made it into Q3? No, we haven't. We're out again, and yet again in P11. Now, unfortunately, I apologise for the lack of face cam. I thought I had clicked record, but it turns out I hadn't, so face cam, we're back for the race. But there we go. There's our final running order, and Hulkenberg into Q3. We miss out yet again in P11. Less than a second away, though, and to be fair, I was a bit more encouraged by that final run. Like I said, I made a bit of an adjustment to the front wing. You know, in Q1, I ran setup X. I changed the setup with a bit more front wing for the first run of Q2. It didn't really work. I went back to setup X and it seemed to work better in Q2 with a bit more of a rubber in track. So yeah, things are looking okay. I'm quietly confident the race could still be a decent one for us, especially if we do a decent strategy. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Either way, qualifying, we'll take that for now and hopefully we can try and get a decent start and turn things around on Sunday's race. And I think strategy and tyre wear are going to be really, really key.
Welcome along to France, one of the great racing meccas, host of the world-famous Tour de France, and widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing in the late 1800s. How far we've come since then. As this year's race gets underway, it's time, of course, for the French Grand Prix. A lap of Paul Ricard then consists of 15 corners and a total length of around 3.6 miles. Drivers will need to position their cars carefully on the exit of the flat-out turn 10, ready for the double apex right-hander at 11. Watch out for potential overtaking action at the end of the start-finish straight and into the heavy braking zone of turn 8. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. A very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Russell, Sergio Perez, and Norris, Hulkenberg, Fernando Alonso, Ricciardo, and Martinez, Verstappen, Ocon, Pierre Gasly, and Magnussen, Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, Valtteri Bottas, and Guan Yu Zhou, Albon, Vettel, Stroll, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Now, the first bit of good news for this race is that we're starting from P10. We have gained a place due to a grid penalty, so we're starting slightly further up and inside the top half of the table. We're also looking to hopefully get a good start and break into maybe a top 8 after the first lap, maybe even a top 6. It depends what kind of lines we take and how things go. Either way, strategy for this race is going to be a medium to hard tyre one stop. Now, the timing of when we pit, whether it's an overcut or an undercut, is going to be really, really important. Fuel load, I've gone for 1 lap extra fuel. That should be fine. The key thing this race is tyres. Now, we got it a bit wrong in Austria, so I've gone pretty high on the pressures this race. Reason for that is because I'm expecting tyre wear to be high. And I think I'd like an overcut if I could, and also higher pressures will mean you get your tyres warmed up quicker, which is better for later when we go for the hard tyres. So I'm doing this in a way to kind of remedy the pit stop phase and to give us a bit more competitiveness at the time, at the expense of maybe some optimal, traction and grip. Either way, we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to it. Leave a like if you're excited, and also comment down below your prediction for this race and then edit the comment after and to see whether you was right or wrong. But I'm feeling good about this one. I think, dare I say I'd like a podium, but that might be a bit optimistic. Either way, let's give it everything and let's fight for what we can. Now, interestingly, the driver that's penalised is Max Verstappen. He's right behind us and on the hard tyre. So, ideally, that hard tyre doesn't perform as expected, at least in the first couple laps, and Max drops back. But this is crucial because Max is the new championship leader, so we may have a chance here to, bag a few extra points over him, especially if we have a very strong first stint. So let's try and make it count. Got a great bit of rear tyre temp on this formation lap, thanks to the pressures. So let's get into it and let's get a good start as we now our starting position. Right, let's do this. Big race, crucial for the championship. Decent start. Come on, come on. Second phase has to be good. Verstappen's dropped back. We've got the jump on Ricciardo into turn 1. Hulkenberg up the inside, making it 3 wide. He loses a bit of time and we're going to fly past everybody. Can we get Alonso as well for a top 6 off the start? Aggression shown early on. And we're going to make it work as we're up into P6. What a start from us there. Using the medium tyre and the tyre temp to get to work. Now we're going to find out what the situation is regarding the straight line speed. So Alonso, you can see, tucked right in behind. I've got my battery fully switched on, but he's not going anywhere. Into the chicane we go. We've got Lando going slowly. We're going to try around the outside, and we're going to get Sainz as well. Sainz on the hard tyre, so that would explain his lack of pace. So we're going to try to get past here. What a first lap though. Up into P4 from absolutely nowhere. That is going to be one of the best starts of this season, I think, we're ever going to get. That was world class. And that's exactly what we needed for the championship. And the best thing is, it's not even a close leading. So, Hamilton out front for Mercedes-Benz. This could be a great race for us. This could be an opportunity. Now I just hope the tyre pressure gamble pays off and it gives us better tyre wear to be stronger throughout the stint. But yeah, so far, this is really, really good from us. I've had to use a lot of battery to keep up with Russell. The Mercedes look quick. Russell's catching Leclerc. Hamilton's pulling away. So Mercedes turning the corner here in terms of upgrades and pace.
DRS is being enabled this lap. With new DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Crucially on that lap, we actually matched Hamilton's pace. Russell the fastest one around that time. Just going to try and make sure I stay within his DRS ideally and stay within a second, as that's going to be really important for us, especially that we've put so much battery into this first stint. Looks like Russell's just going to pull away though. I just can't quite match him through there. And we're out of DRS range, which isn't ideal. We're going to have to use a bit more battery here to try and get close. I've matched my personal best. I'm completely out of battery now though, so I'm relying on Russell and Leclerc maybe battling a little bit to help us catch up, because I don't really have any battery reserves to close up with. Okay, now we're going to get DRS. Leclerc doesn't quite have the pace on the hard tyre, but the big boys have gone for the hards. You know, Leclerc, Sainz, Verstappen, all on the hard rubber. Don't know what tyre Lewis is on, but I'm assuming it's a medium. But we finally have DRS for the first time, which is good. Let's see if I can try and recharge some batteries. Also, I think Russell might go for the move on Leclerc this lap. For the first time, we've got DRS on the back straight, which is what I haven't had so far. The Mercedes does lack a bit of straight line speed. Russell not able to get past Leclerc when he's been pretty damn close on the exit. We know, of course, about the Ferrari engine, the Ferrari power. But this is good now. I'm in a good spot. Pace is decent, and we're able to recharge battery. We've got a healthy gap over Carlos Sainz behind as well. I think realistically P2 is achievable here. Obviously Leclerc being on the hard tyre, he's going to be very quick later on in the medium. But the Mercedes cars, I think we can beat. Yellow flag behind, someone's had an issue. And that could open up the strategy now. So you could probably stretch a hard tyre to the end if there was a safety car. But yeah, this race is opening up now. We're in a bit of an awkward situation where it's going to be hard to pass because of the DRS train that Leclerc is pulling and Russell not able to get by. Last start of the race, as we're starting to recharge some battery now that we're at 50%, so a bit more we can start to really push and make something happen. This could be the lap, to be fair. I'll try something. Starting to feel like I've got better pace as tyre wear kicks in. I'm getting the edge on Russell now. But we just don't quite have the straight line speed that we once did this season. I'm also not great on traction out of there, which is a bit of a problem because I lose just a bit too much. I can't really make anything happen. I think our best chance is out of this chicane, if I can get close through here. This is our best opportunity. I went in a bit too deep though for the first apex, but through here the AI don't really use any battery. I'm going to try it and go for it here. Whoa, Russell on the brakes through there. I was a bit of a surprise.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Okay, front wing's still okay. There was slight contact, but we've got it done and we're through. Right then, race on. This is an important phase now. We've got to try and clear Leclerc and then try to latch onto Hamilton. Russell though, back up the inside out of nowhere. Not letting it go without a fight. We'll run him out of road through here and not let him fight.
Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of it.
Right, important phase of the race now. Let's try and push on.
We're approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hard next time.
For that precise reason. We're racing Hamilton this race. Leclerc, if we beat him, it's a bonus, but I'm looking at Lewis in this race. First warning for track limits. It's taking a little bit too much out of the apex. But this is working fine now. Leclerc's actually faster. The hard tyre, of course, is now the better tyre. So we're naturally just catching Hamilton anyway. Obviously, if we were to get ahead of Leclerc, the gap would be at just 2 seconds or just under 2 seconds. I'm not too sure if I have the pace. Or if I want to pass Leclerc, to be fair, it's just started to pick up the pace, but right there he's made a mistake. I might try and take it. Use the opportunity. Oh, never mind. Get a second warning. That's a bit harsh, considering I lost time. This could be the lap. This is our scheduled in lap. So let's see. Could be a chance to get Leclerc here if I nail all this. Maybe not. First signs of tyre wear kicking in. In a way, I could try and follow Leclerc if the Mercs pit. I think it'd be a pretty effective way of achieving an undercut, as Leclerc's pretty quick at this stage, pretty speedy. Now the tyre indicator has just popped up in the bottom right. I'm going to extend by 1 lap just to be safe and have no tyre issues at the end. Now if Lewis were to pit, which he doesn't, Leclerc's going to be an excellent car to follow. Russell also doesn't pit, so nobody's stopping just yet. I'm more than happy behind Charles Leclerc right now. The pace is good, we're catching Hamilton. The hard tyre's working well. And there we go, Hamilton pits. Right, this is it. This is a crucial part of the race now. Engine wear indicator is also turned on due to gearbox wear. We're going to use up pretty much most of the battery to try and get by here.
Nico's coming in for his stop now.
Just don't have the tyres. I'm trying to get past Leclerc, but it isn't really happening.
Pitting this lap then, coming to the pits at the end of this lap.
This is going to be a pit stop battle between me and Russell this lap. Make no mistake about it. I feel like I've got a bit too much understeer, but at the same time the setup's working well so far, so I don't really want to put some more wing on and, you know, upset things a bit. Russell trying to get by there, actually lost a bit of time in the process. Let's try and now this pit entry. Oh, that was close. Just made it though. Russell right on our gearbox though. This is going to be important that we time this beautifully. If there's ever a stop, it has to be now from Mercedes. Sorry, from our crew. It has to be perfect. Russell isn't going to get held, so we have to pull this off to perfection. Let's find out. Lovely. Spot on. We actually pulled away a little bit from Russell there.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit, or receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
Right, back on the way then, but as you know, we tend to struggle on cold tyres compared to the AI. Hamilton has gained time, he's 4 seconds up the road, which isn't good. And we're going to lose even more time through here on the cold rubber. Hopefully though, those tyre pressures kick in to help us get some tyre temp a bit quicker than usual. Russell's close though. I might just let him go and then we'll get him back afterwards. You see tyres are still not fully up to temp, so we'll try and get Russell back after. Let's see what his pace is. But Hamilton has pulled away, to be fair, but we are going to have better tyres than him. Right, this is it. Leclerc's in the pit lane. We're about to find out how this all shakes out. currently on 2 purple sectors behind George Russell, so we're responding on the fresh tyres, but Leclerc's going to be very hard to stop on that medium. Let's see, are we ahead, are we behind him? We're going to actually be racing him, to be fair. It's going to be close. There is Leclerc leaving the pit exit right now on cold tyres. So Leclerc has made the overcut work, and I think he's going to be safe actually from any threat. So really what we want now is Leclerc to catch up to Hamilton and battle and see if maybe they can, you know, cost themselves some time or get some damage. Ideally I don't want Leclerc to win, but then again I can't complain too much. Checo in the pit lane, Carlos Sainz as well, so that's going to move us back into our actual position of P4. Alright, now we're hanging on to Leclerc here and he's dragging us to Lewis. This could be an interesting scenario actually. Could become a 4-way fight for the win. Sainz I think could catch us as well. I wouldn't rule him out just yet. Leclerc fastest lap 32.2. Russell no longer has DRS. Visually Hamilton is a lot closer now. This isn't over yet. I'm still targeting P2 this race. Oh, Albon out. I don't really want a safety car. I'm quite happy where we are right now. And I think that's how things are going to stay. Well, there's Leclerc right behind Hamilton. And we're all kind of catching up now. We're all bunching up. The longer Hamilton keeps Leclerc behind, the better, because me and George are getting back into play here. And as the race goes on, the medium will lose its effectiveness. So it could become a level fight for the race to win, maybe. I'm looking to try and get past George here, but I don't have a lot of battery to make it happen. Not the best chicane, but we're close. I'm going to commit. I'm going to use up the batteries. Try it and get this one done. And the hope now is that I can latch on to Leclerc and Hamilton's DRS fight. And that way we've formed the train. And we're in the mix that way. Let's see if we can make it happen though. It's not going to be easy. We're going to have to use all the batteries. We're going to have to dump it out of here. If we might just fall short though. Let's find out. Did we get the DRS? I don't think we did. That's not going to help. We've got to try and push now. Very important phase of the race. And there we go. Leclerc the inside of Hamilton to turn 1. That's going to help us now close the gap definitively. So we will get DRS. Come on, Lewis, hold on. Just hold on. There we go. Now we've just got to be careful. But this is it. Battle for the win. Can we send Leclerc packing? Yes, we can. That's what you want right there. We've got no battery, but it's game on now in this fight. All the way to the end of the race. Here comes Leclerc. It's important now that I try and save some battery of my own. If I can, that would be the ideal scenario now. To have something to fight with later on. This might even bring Sainz into play. Oh, that's a big one. But still, we're looking okay. Just got to try and recharge. That's going to be key now. Battery, battery, battery. Hamilton doing an excellent job holding off Leclerc. Leclerc just running out a bit of momentum now, it seems like. And Sainz is about to join the battle. We've now got a fair bit of charge. I'd like to get a bit more, because when I commit, I want to try and go for it. Essentially, the next time these two battle, we're going to try and go for a move. That's going to be the plan. Our strongest opportunity is this right here, out of the chicane, getting the drive, just like this, and going for the pass. So we'll pick our options and our battles at the right time. I want to give it 1 or 2 more laps before we commit and basically try to bolt and pull away. But we can win this race now. And this would be a huge win for the championship, especially if Leclerc doesn't finish second. That would really help as well. Hamilton's made a bit of a mistake with the chicane. Leclerc's got the run. This is important now. Leclerc's got the inside. This could be it, you know. Hamilton's done so well, but he's made one mistake. And that has allowed Leclerc through. Game on then. Let's see how the race changes with this adjustment up front. Important that we ideally try to maybe split these two and get in between them. Leclerc trying to make a break for it. Hamilton doesn't have the pace to keep up right now. I'm going to try and go for this move. I'm going to wait until the second chicane. I could have maybe gone there, to be fair, even with Hamilton having DRS. But I want to try and see if I can set this one up. There we go, Hamilton has a moment. That's the invitation right there. Hamilton's struggling, of course. Those tyres are a couple laps older than ours. Now let's try and get ourselves onto Leclerc. Ideally, I've got to try and pass him next lap, really, because we know that AI are going to go full power in at least the last lap at a minimum. I'm taking big liberties now with track limits. I'm pushing it right to the limit. Can't forget we're on 2 warnings. Hamilton are out the RS range. I don't think I've got enough to get Leclerc though. I would like to have had a bit more battery, but the way the race has unfolded, I just had to go when I got the chance. Leclerc's pushing. He's in full power mode. I've managed to just hold on though. I might get a one chance out of the chicane here if I can get super close. This has to be perfect though. Ideally, Leclerc makes a bit of a mistake. Oh, we make a mistake though. That's it, I've got no battery. Oh, it's going to get away from us yet again. Keep trying, I'll keep fighting. At this point I've got to be careful not to not get a penalty. I'll have to just take the P2. One mistake from Leclerc is all I need, but he hasn't made any in this last lap really. It's been flawless from the Monegasque, who lost the championship lead in the last round, but he's going to get it back straight away in the very next. Verstappen has a horrible race due to a grid penalty. Crucially for us though, we're going to gain big time on Verstappen, but Leclerc's going to keep pulling away from us. We had to win today, and we got so close. Still, we'll take a P2. Happy days.
Top job, my friends, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you pulled through. Thank you very much.
A great race then, and a fantastic victory here at Paul Ricard. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I really feel the track layout, combined with the track temperatures we saw today, suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari.
Well, there you have it then. Charles Leclerc is your race winner here today in Paul Ricard. Second place for us, less than a second away. I tried, didn't quite get it. I think had Hamilton held on for 1 or 2 more laps, it would have been perfect, because I would have been in a much better position to fight and basically commit and give it everything. Instead though, we'll take it. Hulkenberg also PA in the points after a DNF last time out, of course, double DNF technically in Austria. He bounces back to some extent. Pace not quite there for him though, as he starts to drop away. Mercedes 3 and 4, they've definitely improved pace-wise. Mercedes are on their way back in a big way. Sainz P5 in the other Ferrari, top 5 covered by 3.5 seconds. Perez P6 in the first of the Red Bulls. That's big for the constructors, by the way. Alonso P7, Hulkenberg, Norris and Ocon round out the points, and no sign of Verstappen as he finishes in P15 on a 1-stop, but just didn't really make any progress and never really cleared any traffic. So yeah, big surprise there with 2 DNFs at the bottom with Albon and Stroll out. In the standings, you can see we're third right now, 39 points off Leclerc and 19 points away from Verstappen. So we keep ourselves in the mix. I think obviously another 7 points our way, and then taking 7 away from Leclerc would have been a 14-point swing, which puts us 25 points behind Leclerc, and that's a lot more, you know, appealing because it's a race win distance. Instead, it's 39. It is what it is. Hulkenberg gets overtaken by Sainz. Sainz moves up into the top 5. In the constructors, though, not bad. This is a good race for us. Only 13 points behind Red Bull and 44 from Ferrari. Mercedes, with these upgrades, they're not a million miles away actually, and I wouldn't really rule them out. So it's a 4-way fight this season. It's red hot. and it's going to keep going as we approach the midway stage of the season. But now let's move into upgrades. Now we have some sponsorship renewal to take care of, which I'm more than happy to oblige with, as cash flow isn't really a problem for us. Then we have activities, which we'll also take care of. Not a really lot to do here, so we'll just go for a podium celebration and a second driver performance review. Elsewhere though, Monaco's next, and that's round 7. I'm keen to see how our car performs in the streets. That could be a big race for us if we could win that. Anyway, let's go to upgrades. We have 3,000 points to spend, and we have 12 upgrades that have arrived for Monaco, so the car currently has no upgrades planned. So let's go ahead and let's invest a bit more. Now, we've lost a bit in the engine department, so we've got the spark plugs. We're going to go ahead and add the pistons to that as well. And we're going to go for some ERS. I feel like that could also be a key improvement for our performance. Then on the chassis, the cable assembly has arrived. Can we add some more? Where are we? We're second right now behind Red Bull. What about the aero? We're also second behind Ferrari, just. We'll go for front downforce. I am struggling with a bit of understeer, so I want to try and improve the front downforce of the car, and we'll save the rest of the points for any failures we may have. But there we go then, we're ready for Monaco, and Monaco is actually the same round as the original calendar in the way I've kind of, made this custom calendar. So yeah, the streets and the Principality up next. I'm very excited about that, and we'll see how that goes. But guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, leave a like and subscribe for more daily F1 content on my channel. As always, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already, and a massive shout out to the members for supporting the content as always. But guys, cheers for watching, and it's goodbye from me.